Hi students, today we are having our last class on biostatistics. The class is test of significance. So what do you mean by significance, or what do you mean by the test of significance? Some part we have discussed in the last sessions where we have calculated the standard error and all. So actually what we are doing in any statistical test is what that is represented as a picture here. Whenever we do a research, what is there in our mind? That there is a population, from that population we have selected a sample. And the hypothesis, that problem which we assumed about that population, we are trying to find from that sample. And then ultimately what we are doing? We are telling that whatever result we have got from the sample will be same as that of the population. And that is why before going to the tests of significance, we need to know some terms that we usually use in statistical tests. The first is what we call as parameter. The unknown value of that population is what we call as parameter. Now what is that unknown value means? We have seen that there are various types of measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Now what is measures of central tendency? The mean, median and mode, the averages. Measures of dispersion, range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, standard deviation, all these are the measures of dispersion. So these measures which we are calculating from the population that is unknown to us is what we call as parameter. It's not very easy to find these measures if the population is huge. So what we will do, we will select the sample. That is why we are telling that from that population we know that we have selected a sample, probably random sample we will select. And then what we will do? Then we will calculate that particular measure which is unknown to us about that population, we will calculate from the sample. For example, if we are having the example today as I want to know, or the investigator need to know whether what is the prevalence of anemia among girls, medical students in our college. But now at present, since you are accessible to me, I selected 2017 batch as my accessible population. And then since you are there with me, I will select students, girls of this batch as a sample. Probably it's not random sample because it is convenient sample, of course, but still I selected this group into my study. So now for knowing the prevalence of anemia, which variable I need to calculate? I need to take the HB value. So I found that the measure, the mean HB value of the girls of this particular class, SY class, is say 11.6. So which is that value? That value is the sample value. So 11.6 is the sample value, which is not so less. That means the anemia is not so prevalent in this particular population. In this particular sample which we have selected. Now what we will do? We will go back to the population. So the value which we have calculated from the sample is what we call as statistic, or we call it as estimator, and that is not unknown to us, that is known to us. So that's the difference between a parameter and an estimator, or a parameter and a statistic. That means the parameter value will be always unknown to us. About that population is not known to us. That is why we are selecting a sample. And from that sample we can calculate any measure. That measure which we have calculated from the sample is what we call as statistic or estimator. Now what we are telling? We are telling that the value which we have calculated from the sample will be same as that of the population. Can be considered as an estimate of the population value. Population HB value, mean HB value of that whole population of girls in Azizia. So that this white is represented as dotted lines. If you have noticed, you can see that there is one population. From that population we have selected the sample. We calculated the measure from that sample, and we are telling that this value 11.6 mean HB value of girls in our college, or the samples which I have selected from our college, can be considered as an estimate of the population mean HB value of the whole girls in our college. So that is why it is represented in estimate. That is why it is represented as dotted lines and is considered that process is what we call as estimation. Understood? So what is parameter? The unknown value of the population is what we call as parameter. The known value which we are calculating from the sample is what we call as statistic or estimator. And this process is what we call as estimation. Understood? Now, so this is one term. And the next term is what we call as, there is the division in testing, in statistical testing, as two types of samples are there. Large sample and small sample. We call that a sample is a large sample if the sample size of the sample is greater than 30. And the sample is said to be small sample if the size of the sample is less than or equal to 30. Accordingly, the test is also divided, large sample test and small sample test. And what is the process which we are doing in statistical inference is this. That means we are trying to generalize the findings of the study to the population from which the sample has drawn. And there is some assumptions, of course, regarding that sample. That is why in the sampling technique also we were mentioning that the samples which we need to select should always be scientifically selected. If it is not scientifically selected, what will happen? That estimation, that generalization would not happen from sample to population. So which are the assumptions which we need? Samples is a representative part of the population. Samples are randomly selected. Then variability of the population and the sample should be same. Now, this is the process of any statistical inference. To make you clear, it is there here. That means whenever we are going for a study, always, if I want to do a study based on the prevalence of anemia among girls in medical students in our college, what is there in my mind? What should be there in my mind? The prevalence, maybe the prevalence of anemia is more, or the prevalence of anemia is less, or I am not sure. So based on this particular group, based on the present review of literature, there should be some assumption in my mind that the prevalence of anemia among adolescent girls or among females of this particular age group in Kerala is more. So that is the assumption which we are having. And that assumption which we do when we go for any research is what we call as hypothesis. That hypothesis, there should be some hypothesis in our mind. And finally what we are doing, we are trying to prove this hypothesis. Either we will accept this hypothesis or we will reject this hypothesis. So the first step in any statistical inference is we want to formulate that hypothesis. If not formulating, then you are not able to do the research. So there should be one hypothesis in your mind. After doing the hypothesis, after formulating the hypothesis, the next step is you want to prove that hypothesis. In order to prove that this hypothesis, what's the next step you need? You need to collect the relevant data from the population, from the sample which you have selected. That means there is one population and from that population you have selected the sample. So regarding from that sample, you need to collect the available data which you need to prove this hypothesis. So finally, once you collected the data, the next step is based on the result which we are getting from that data, we will tell that whether we need to accept or reject this hypothesis. And that is why when we do like that, we are always taking a chance. That chance is what we call as, that is, the chance is otherwise known as random error. We need to assume that when we do or when we prove the hypothesis, there is always an error that is hidden there. And that errors is what we call as, two types of errors are there, type 1 error and type 2 error. So type 1 error means that investigators should always keep in mind that these two errors will happen, and type 1 error means probability. Always it is represented in probability. So the value will always lies between 0 and 1. And type 1 error is the probability of rejecting this hypothesis when the hypothesis is correct. That is an error. Type 2 error means probability of rejecting hypothesis when the probability of accepting the hypothesis when the hypothesis is false. Understood? So error means mistake. So that means, what is that mistake that has happened when you took this decision on to accept or reject the hypothesis? That error is what we call as two types of errors are there, type 1 error and type 2 error, which is type 1 error is represented as the probability of rejecting hypothesis when the hypothesis is true, and type 2 error means probability of accepting the hypothesis when the hypothesis is false. Understood? So the hypothesis, again, when we are mentioned that we want to formulate one hypothesis, in statistical test we usually formulate two types of hypothesis. Two hypotheses are there in statistical test. The first hypothesis is what we call as null hypothesis. In statistical test we always form null hypothesis first. What do you mean by null hypothesis? So when we are doing a study on to find the prevalence of anemia among medical students, especially the females in our medical college, there is one hypothesis from the previous review of literature in my mind that the the mean HB value of females medical students from some previous study I got it as 11.1. But when we calculated our measure, we got the hypothesis as 11.6. Now what will be my null hypothesis? We will tell that from the previous study, we want to compare whether our study, the prevalence of anemia is more or less among our population, more or less among the females in our college. So what we will do, the null hypothesis, always in the null hypothesis we will tell that what we are trying to prove is not there. Understood? That means if we want to prove that the prevalence of anemia is more or is less in our college among these medical students, then what we will write, null hypothesis H naught such that mu is equal to 11.1 based on the previous study. So we will tell that there exists no such difference between the sample and the population which we have selected. There is no such difference between the prevalence of anemia among the medical students in our college with that of some study that has happened previously in some other medical college in Kerala. Understood? So that is what we will write in null hypothesis. That means there is no such difference. There is no such significant difference between these two populations. So if, for example, if you have not understood that much, I will explain you in another way. If you want to compare the prevalence of anemia among medical students between two batches in our college, like 2017 batch and between 2017 and 2018 batch. So that means there will be two measures, mean HB value of 2017 batch and mean HB value of 2018 batch. And there is one assumption in my mind that there exists no such significant difference between the prevalence of anemia among these two populations. Understood? So what we will write there in null hypothesis, we want to check whether there exists any difference in anemia among these two populations. So what we will write in the null hypothesis that, and imagine that the measure we will represent it as mu1 and mu2. Mu1 is the mean value of the HB value of 2017 batch and mu2 is the mean HB value of 2018 batch. So in the null hypothesis we will write that this mean HB values are same. There is no such difference. So since we write like that, this null hypothesis is represented as H naught such that mu1 is equal to mu2. So that equal to sign is always there when we specify the null hypothesis. That means there is no such difference. So since that no term is used always, or we are always assuming that there is no such difference, this null hypothesis is named like that. It means null, nothing, void. So no such difference is there. Always the opposite of null hypothesis, we call it as alternate hypothesis. So if we are telling that there is no such difference in the prevalence of anemia among these two batches in our college, what we will write, H naught such that mu1 is equal to mu2. Now what is the alternate of that? What is the alternate of equal to? What can be the different options of equal to, opposite of equal to, not equal to, then greater than or less than. Understood? These are also the options of opposite of equal to. So H naught such that mu1 is equal to mu2, then how we will explain H1? That is the alternate hypothesis represented as H1, where H1 such that mu1 is not equal to mu2. Okay. Then mu1 can be greater than mu2 or mu1 can be less than mu2. So these are the alternate hypotheses which we can write for that null hypothesis H naught. Understood? So these are the terms. So which all terms we have studied? Parameter is there, estimator or statistic is there, then hypothesis is there. We need to have one hypothesis. That hypothesis itself in statistical test is divided into two. One is said to be null hypothesis and the second is said to be alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis means we are telling that there is no such difference, there is no significant difference between the comparison which we are making, whether it is from the between the sample or the population or between these two populations. So against the null hypothesis we will have alternate hypothesis. So opposite of equal to which we are writing in null hypothesis, opposite of that equal to is not equal to. Then we are having the options greater than. It can be not equal to, can itself divide into two. That means it can be greater than or it can be less than. Understood? So null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. Then we are having the term called large sample test and small sample test. If the sample size is greater than 30, we call it as large sample test. If the sample size is less than 30, less than or equal to 30, we call it as small sample test. And then one more term we have studied as type 1 error and type 2 error. Since we are taking a chance, we are formulating one hypothesis and we are telling, after collecting the data from the sample, analyzing it, after that we are telling that whether we need to accept or reject the hypothesis. So since we have collected only that sample, then we are always taking a chance there. We are assuming that there can be the error happen when we do like that. So that two types of errors are what we call as type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 error is the probability of rejecting this null hypothesis. That null, which hypothesis we are mentioning there? Null hypothesis. So probability of rejecting H naught when H naught is true is what we call as type 1 error, and probability of rejecting accepting H naught when H naught is false is what we call as type 2 error. And of course type 1 error is represented using the letter alpha, and type 2 error can be represented by using the letter beta. And the details of this, how the chance and all, we will explain when you come for your practical posting, otherwise it will be very confusing for you. So I am going to the next part. Now again the statistical test is divided into two. That means parametric test and non-parametric test. If we are dealing in the null hypothesis, we are mentioning about the measures, then that type of test is what we call as parametric test. And in parametric test we are having the assumption that the variables in the population is always normally distributed. That means when we draw the frequency distribution table and histogram, the frequency curve will be a bell-shaped curve. If it is a bell-shaped curve and if the observations are greater than 30, then the test we can apply is parametric test. So when we can apply parametric test, of course the measure, that means we need to mention some measures in our null hypothesis like mean is equal to, standard deviation is equal to. If we are mentioning the measures like that, then that, and if the distribution is normal distribution and the number of observations is greater than 30, then we can apply parametric test. Now when we will apply non-parametric test? If we need to, if it is a distribution free test, that means if in the null hypothesis we are telling that we want to establish a relationship between two variables, for example the habit of tobacco chewing will lead to oral cancer, all of us know, but we want to find whether it is true or not. So what we will do, we will write in the null hypothesis that there exists no significant association between oral cancer and the habit of tobacco chewing. Understood? So if, and against the null hypothesis, what will be the alternate hypothesis? There is significant association between habit of tobacco chewing and oral CA. Understood? So this, here we are not mentioning about any measure. We are telling, we are trying to establish an association between two variables. So that is what we call as non-parametric test. And of course the size of the sample can be less than 30 and the distribution is not need to follow normal distribution. if it is like that, then we will apply non-parametric test. And for you to study, you are having both test for your practical classes. In parametric test, we will apply normal distribution, normal test, and for non-parametric test, we will apply chi-square test. So the problems we will do when you come for your practical posting. So, but this is the concept of this parametric and non-parametric. That means parametric is distribution test, non-parametric is distribution free test. We will always discuss, or we will always establish some relationship between two variables in non-parametric test. And the normal distribution is not, that is why it is said to be, the data will be skewed. If the data is not normal, we call it as skewed distribution. Can be positively skewed or it can be negatively skewed. And it always deals with small number of observations, which is less than or equal to 30. And there is one more term which we need to know is test statistic. So what do you mean by test statistic? Based on this test statistic only, we will decide whether we need to accept or reject the null hypothesis. So that test statistic, that is what we call as, what is the meaning of test statistic. And the statistical test chosen will depend on which all factors or which all the variables the statistical test depends on, whether the comparison is between independent or dependent group, whether proportion or means need to be compared, whether two or more or more than two groups need to be compared. So based on this, we will decide which statistical test or which test statistic need to be applied. That means based on that test calculation of that test statistic only, we will decide whether we need to accept or reject the hypothesis. And now these are the steps that is there in any statistical inference or any statistical test. The first is the statement of the question need to be answered. That means we want to formulate one hypothesis. And the next is, so that means we want to have some question in our mind. That means we want to identify the problem which we need to prove. We need to find whether actually this anemia is prevalent among medical students in our college or in any medical college in Kerala, whether this is there. So that means that question need to come to our mind. After formulating that question, the next is you formulate your null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis for that statistical test. Then you decide which suitable statistical test you can apply, whether you need to apply parametric test or non-parametric test, or you need to apply large sample test or small sample test. So like that you want to decide which suitable statistical test you need to apply. Then you want to find what is the error which you will fix, when the alpha is either it is 0.05 or it is 0.01. So that level of significance, so we were mentioning the type 1 error there. So alpha is what we call as level of significance. So probability of rejecting H0 when H0 is true is what we call as alpha. That alpha you need to fix first, and of course the beta also you need to fix. Actually we will fix it as 1 minus beta. That means that is what we call as the power of a test. 1 minus beta is said to be the power of a test. And performance of statistical test analysis, that means then we want to calculate the test statistic. As we were mentioned previously, the test statistic, that value we need to calculate. So that means that value gives the value of our p value. That means whether this, what is the p value in our calculation. If it is less than 0.05, we will tell that we need to reject the null hypothesis, and if it is greater than 0.05, we will tell that we will accept the null hypothesis. So this is the statistical decision we usually use to make. The next is, last is the interpretation of the test. That means whether the prevalence of anemia is more or less, or our medical students, especially girls, are anemic or not, that we want to interpret based on this result that is obtained. So this is what we are having in any statistical test. So this is the conclusion of this particular class, and assignment I will give. Hope that you are preparing for your second year exams. Prepare well. For that I am giving only some simple assignment this time. All the best. Thank you.